The first thing I want to do is remove the wheel, 21mm socket, take off all 5 of your lug nuts. And now remove the wheel. Now with the 10mm, I want to loosen up the 2 slider pin bolts, which bolt the caliper onto the axle here. There's no bracket on this one. So 10mm socket, break these free, and then we'll remove them all the way. Take these out, set them aside, inspect them. If they're rotted or in bad condition, don't reuse them. Obviously you need to replace them. These are good though. Now use a pry bar, go from the top, flip the caliper over, take it off. At this point we can also take the pads out, use that same pry bar and just pop them right out of here. They just have some clips that lock them in. There we go. Take that one out, take off the inner pad. This one slides out of the piston here. There you have it. Now you want to set your caliper aside safely so that it puts no pressure on this brake hose. I'm just going to put it right here behind the backing plate. At this point you have these 2 little anti-rattle clips that clip over this piece, which is not the bracket. Again, it's part of the backing and the axle. So replaceable if it's damaged, but typically you'd want to clean it up, put some grease on here. So we'll do this top and bottom. Get these little clips out of here, replace them with new ones. And of course, if needed, in my case it is needed, you want to sand this down, get it nice and clean. You can use a wire brush if it's not too bad. I'm going to use a little sanding disc. Be careful, don't remove too much material, because like I said, this does not come with your caliper. I want to take off the rotor next in order to help clean up the anti-rattle clips where they sit. Okay, it looks like my parking brake needs to be de-adjusted because it won't let go of the shoes. So let me show you how to do that. At the bottom right here, you'll see this little cap, which if you remove it, it gives you an access hole to the adjuster for the parking brake shoes. Sometimes you might need a little pry bar or screwdriver to pop this out. Don't break it, because you definitely want to reuse this, otherwise water gets in there and then you get rust on your parking brake shoes. But pop this off. There we go. And right behind here, you'll see this little star adjuster wheel. You can twist this, and what this will do is it'll contract the shoes and it will release the rotor. Hopefully it's not seized up. Mine is a little rusty, so we'll definitely have to clean this one up and lubricate it, but it spins, so that's good. The direction that you need to turn it in will depend by application. Sometimes you have to twist it down, sometimes you have to twist it up, and also depending on how it was installed last. Looks like for me, twisting it down releases the rotor. Okay, that's perfect. Now I can get my rotor off of here. I don't want to breathe in any of this brake dust that's stuck in here, so I'm going to take some brake parts cleaner. I'm going to spray down this whole parking brake shoe area and get rid of any dust that might be floating around in here. That way, as I work, I don't breathe it in. And also, this helps clean it all up. Depending on how bad your situation is, you could use a wire brush or a sanding disc, or just a little screwdriver or pry bar and scrape things off. I'm going to use a sanding disc that looks like this, but be careful if you use that. Don't take off too much material, because like I said before, this is not a bracket that comes with your caliper. This is the backing plate that bolts up to the axle, so you'll have to buy a new assembly if you take off too much material. So be careful how much you sand down. I'm not going for shiny brand new, I'm going for clean. Of course, you want to do this to both top and bottom. Clean this up with some brake parts cleaner to get rid of any dust. Before I apply some grease to this area, I want to clean up the hub surface, because the dust from cleaning up this hub surface would get stuck to the grease here. So that's why I wanted to do this part first. And cleaning this up, this one's not too bad, but I do want to remove the surface rust here, and I'm going to use a sanding disc. At this point you could use a wire brush, but it would take a little bit longer than a sanding disc. Don't take off too much material though, this is your axle shaft. In between the lug studs here, I'm going to use a wire brush. Clean it up with brake parts cleaner. Apply a little bit of brake grease to these areas that we cleaned up where the clips sit, top and bottom. You don't want to apply too much though, because then it'll just squeeze out and get all over the place. Just a thin layer like that, and if it does happen to squeeze out, if you put too much, just go ahead and wipe it off. Now take your new anti-rattle clips, slide them on, and press them to lock them into position. If you need to tap them on gently, go ahead. If they don't stay on because you removed too much material, that's an issue, and you would want to address that by most likely replacing this backing plate piece, unfortunately. And of course, do the same to the top as well. I already went ahead and put this on. Make sure it's pressed in. Wipe off any excess grease that might be here so it doesn't get onto the rotor. Next, I want to put some anti-seize all over this hub here where we cleaned up. That way it doesn't rust again, or at least prevents most of the rust. And I'm just going to put a thin layer on. If you have the spray anti-seize, not the brushed kind, be careful not to get it on your parking brake shoes. You don't want to contaminate them. If you do, you'd want to use some brake parts cleaner and clean them off nicely. I'm going to also focus on the center area right here where the rotor actually sits. A lot of times if it will freeze, it'll actually freeze on right at that ring, right in the middle. So I'm going to also coat the rest of the surface, and you don't want to use too much either, because if you use too much, it'll squish, come out, get on the braking surface or on the surface for the parking brake shoes, and then you have issues. So try not to use too much. Nice thin layer will do the trick. Now take your rotor, slide it on backwards so we can easily clean up the braking surface. Use brake parts cleaner. Clean this whole area up. It's coated with oil from the factory so it doesn't rust while it's sitting on the shelf. You want to get all those oils off. And don't forget about inside here where the parking brake shoes ride. That's also important. If it's oily, they won't grip, and then your parking brake won't hold. Now flip it over and install it the right way. Slide on your rotor. If it doesn't fit, the parking brake shoes most likely shifted, so just center them up a little bit. Clean off this surface as well. In order to properly adjust the parking brake shoes, I'm going to put 2 lug nuts on and bottom them out. Just make them snug so the rotor can sit flush up against the axle here. This will get you the most accurate tightness of the parking brake shoes. And before I go to do anything else, I'm going to come right back here with a little pry bar, and I'm going to pull on the parking brake lever. Just like that. What this is going to do is it's going to move the shoes around and center them up. Otherwise, if they're not centered, one side might be touching before the other, and you'll get an inaccurate measurement of how tight, how far out you should adjust them. So now that that's done, let's spin these, and it'll be hard to tell, especially because the other wheel is going to want to spin, and I'm in neutral, but you still have to overcome the force of the drivetrain. And as you can see, you can have a little bit of slop in the differential and it'll move a little bit, but you really need to turn it and listen for it. What you want to do on parking brake shoes like this is you want to hear them just barely touch. You don't want them to drag at all, not like drum brakes. You just want them to just barely touch, and that's how you know that it's properly adjusted. I can hear something very little, so I'm going to turn the adjuster to expand the shoes a little bit, and hopefully that does the trick for me. Another thing you can do is go to the other side, disassemble it, just so that I can have noise only coming from here. I don't want to confuse any dragging noise with noise coming from the other side. All right, so I have the other side apart, the rotor's off. I'm going to spin this and just listen for it. See how you can hear them touch at all times. Now keep in mind, the adjuster is completely de-adjusted. It's bottomed out. You cannot de-adjust them anymore, and the shoes are slightly making contact with the rotor. Another way to test this is I'm going to pull on the e-brake lever back here, while I spin, and the rotor should stop turning. Okay, right there. Parking brake is being applied. So everything is just fine. That's exactly how you want it to be. Turns out I didn't have to do any adjustment, so that's perfect. Let's take these lug nuts off and continue. Once you're happy with your adjustment for the parking brake, don't forget to put this little cap back on here. I put a little bit of grease on it just so it can seal up properly. Push it in all the way. There we go. Next, I want to lubricate the slider pins on this caliper. That entails popping these out just like this. Inspect them, make sure they're in good condition. These are, they look perfect, almost brand new. And if you had rust built up, you would want to take this boot off and take care of it, replace the boot. It's probably broken, and clean this one up or get a new one. Either way, let's put some grease in there. I'm not going to put any on the actual slider because it's just going to get wiped off when I try to put it in there. So what I'm going to do instead is pack some right in here in the caliper boot. Work it in, slide it all the way through so it goes on both sides. Might get a little messy, but you can always wipe it off after. And squish it to work the grease into these little folds. Now you want to slide the pin through. Push it through all the way. Make sure that the boot flips over onto the ridge, the lip on both sides, just like this. It should slide smoothly. It does. So let's do the same to this side over here. Okay, now with both sides done, I want to compress the caliper piston so I can get the new pads in here. To do that, I'm going to use my caliper depression tool and just very gently and slowly push this piston all the way back. There we go. That should be good. Bottomed out right there. Take a little bit of grease and put it on the face or the outer ring of this piston here, and this will ensure that the pads operate quietly and smoothly. Also put some on these two ears here for the same exact reason. Don't put too much, just a little bit. Now I have a new caliper here, but what I'm about to show you will apply whether you're using a new one or an old one, doesn't matter. Now to get the pads on, you want to make sure you have the correct side. What that means is the double hook right here at the bottom as opposed to the single hook at the top. The double hook goes on the bottom like this and the top slides in. However, you need to put it on the caliper first. I'm just demonstrating here. So you want to make sure you have the right side because the other inner pad will be the opposite, so it can be flipped over for the other side. So grab your caliper and the inner pad. Once you have the right one, these ears will slide into the middle of the piston there. Just like that. It'll require quite a bit of force. And same goes for the outer pad. You want to make sure that the double hook is on the bottom. Once you're sure, take it and slide it down just like this over the outside of the caliper. There we go. Tabs should lock in just like so. Everything should be nicely lined up. Now you can take your caliper, slide it on the bottom here first, and then push it over, line it up with the top. Now with everything lined up, let's put the two caliper bolts back in and we'll tighten them, bottom them out, and then torque them to 20 foot-pounds. Okay, 20 foot-pounds. Let's get the wheel on. Start on all 5 of your lug nuts if you have 5, and then torque them to 150 foot-pounds. If you have 7, start all 7 and then torque them to 100 foot-pounds. Okay, take it for a road test.
When only the best will do, demand TRQ. The only company that lets you view before you do. TRQ is committed to offering the highest quality aftermarket auto parts that are engineered for peace of mind. Thanks for using and viewing with TRQ.